once you understand how a company runs, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It's because it all starts with marketing, and then it goes to sales, and then there's a handoff from sales to production, whatever that looks like, and then there's administration. And if you keep it simple, you can do any business you want. It's when we complicate things that we get bogged down. The hard part is keeping it simple. That's the hard part. And that's where I really try to help people.
The following is brought to you by Thryv, the end-to-end client experience platform that helps you get the job, manage the job, and get credit.
Hey, this is Gordon Henry at Winning on Main Street, and this week you get to meet Dominic Rubino. Dominic, who calls himself Dom, likes to tinker on businesses. He's built and sold a few companies, and in his own words, had some fantastic failures too. Since 2000, he's built and sold two different multinational companies, one a large mail order retail pharmacy company, and the other was a global franchisor for a business coaching company. You can find his business coaching at profittoolbelt.com. He's also the author of Construction Millionaire Secrets. Welcome, Dom.
Well, that was such a nice intro. Thank you. We should be done right here. It's going to go downhill.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
Yeah. See ya.
So good to have you on the show. So first, just tell us about your business coaching practice. How do you help small businesses succeed?
You know, it's funny. It's different for every client that I work with, but there's some buckets that happen to appear. People want certainty in their business in the areas of, time for themselves as an owner, because quite often they're overworked and not getting paid what they're worth, or there's operational time. Team right now is a very hot topic. It's hard to find people. It's hard to get good people. And it's always difficult managing people if you're not building the right culture. So we got time, team, money. People want to make more money. Then there's growth strategy, exit strategy, marketing, and sales. Those are the things I usually work with companies on. They're forward-facing business owners that want to change.
Got it. I noticed you say in your website that in your first business, which was a contracting business, you said I was working extremely hard, but making absolutely no money. Then you say I needed to learn the business of business.
Right.
So what is the business of business, and how do you teach it?
I've never been asked that question before, so I'm glad you went back and read all that. So it's different. The business of business means that really once you understand how a company runs, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. It really doesn't. And some people laugh. They're like, Dom, how did you do this? And then you moved over to having a global fulfillment house for pharmaceuticals, and then you became a global franchisor. It's because it all starts with marketing, and then it goes to sales, and then there's a handoff from sales to production, whatever that looks like, and then there's administration. And if you keep it simple, you can do any business you want. It's when we complicate things that we get bogged down. The hard part, and you've probably seen this as well because you've got a couple companies under your belt, is keeping it simple. That's the hard part. And that's where I really try to help people.
Great. So when you talk about simple systems, what do you mean by simple systems? What is a simple system?
Well, a simple system is one that's hard to break, right? So a simple system is, for instance, a script that we would use every single time somebody answered the phone. A simple system is having flowcharts. This is how we do X or Y or Z. In construction, we call them SOPs a lot, right? A simple system is a set of job site rules. A simple system is what's our culture and what do we stand for? And if you're outside of that culture, we got to have a conversation right away. Those are simple systems.
Okay, great. So what kinds of businesses do you mostly help? You seem to have a particular focus on construction and cabinet making.
Yeah. So I like construction businesses because that's the kitchen table I grew up at. That's just normal language for me. But if somebody in their mind could envision a general contractor, and that's where the split happens first. Is it a commercial general contractor or a residential GC? Either is fine, but everything from the general contractor on down. So you've got the foundations guy, you've got the framing guy, you've got the roofing guy, you've got the soffit guy, I say guy, and I don't mean to offend, but you know what I mean? All of the sub-trades that fall under the general contractor, including the general contractor, is who I work with.
Got it. Okay. So let's go back. How did you first sort of get interested in, as you say, tinkering with businesses? How did that all start?
It was failure and frustration, really. I mean, my first company was a contracting company. It was called the Yo Ho Ho Light Co. I installed I'm not kidding. Christmas lights on houses in the Pacific Northwest with a staple gun on cedar roofs. So, I mean, I couldn't be trying to die any faster than that, right? Electrical cords, cedar roofs in the rain. That first year, I can't remember the number, but I made either $23 or $26 after it was all said and done. I made nothing, but I was definitely hooked. And then I went on and in college got a student painting franchise. And that was the hardest thing I ever did. But I was always craving to be a better business person because I knew I was just playing at it, wasn't doing it right. And so of all things, I actually bought a business coaching franchise because they said they would teach me how to be a turnaround business coach. And that's what I ended up doing.
So let's talk a little bit about technology. You know, I mentioned to you before the show, really interested in how businesses become more effective, become more efficient. One of the ways they do that, it seems, is really understanding how best to use technology for their own purposes. Right. In some cases, they may be using technology in their job, like building a house. But in addition to that, marketing their business and managing their customer relationships. As I mentioned to you before, our company Thryv, we make a CRM for small businesses that allows them to manage their customer relationships. I'm curious your thoughts as you coach businesses. What do you tell them about how they should or shouldn't use technology?
You know, I'm urging them to use technology because quite often, you know, people talk about getting to the next level, which is a weird phrase. What does it mean, getting to the next level? We don't really know what it means, but there's something blocking people from getting from where they are today to the next part. And it's usually technology or having access to data you believe in, confidence in your information. And I get it. I've been in the same boat. From a business owner's perspective, you're already as busy as stink. Why would you now need to start getting data together and looking at it? Oh my goodness, why would you do that? But we need to, because those numbers are going to tell you the hot spots. They're going to tell you where you're good, where you're hurting, where you're losing money, where you're making money. And it's only then that you can make the right, you know, people talk about working smarter, not harder. I think what you're talking about is that's the tool for working smarter. You got to have good information to make the right decisions.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I would talk about it, or I think about it in terms of doing a good job in caring for your customer. Like, I mean, I have a house, we have done a lot of work on this house. I've had a lot of contractors in here. And I would say just about every one of them does a good job with their painting. They do a good job with their remodeling. They do a good job with their tile installation. All that's really good. But they do a really poor job of caring for their customer. You know, when you call them, they don't return the call. When you email them, it's a week to hear back from them. It's just difficult to have a relationship with a business that doesn't respond to you, let you know when they're showing up, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Which also means there's an opportunity, because if I am the contractor who responds, who shows up when I say I'm going to show up, and those are small promises to keep that will actually allow me to charge a little bit more. And you're a homeowner who's doing renos. Would you be willing to pay a little bit more for a plumber who shows up when they say they're going to show up, who does the work they say they're going to do, and, you know, who communicates properly? Of course you would. And I would too, because I need certainty. And so when we do the exercise, this is a coaching exercise. Who's your ideal client? Like, who's your perfect customer? What's your perfect job? You and I are the perfect customer. We're busy. I don't have time to get up on a ladder. You don't want to tile a bathroom, but I need somebody who can, and I'm willing to pay for it. That's the perfect customer. So you're right. I need to, as a business owner, find ways to build a relationship with people that have questions like you and I have.
Yeah, I would be willing to pay more. And probably even more importantly, I would be eager to refer that person to a friend or colleague. And, you know, I'm so reluctant to recommend businesses that are like a hassle to do business with. And I'm happy to recommend businesses that are a pleasure to do business with. And like you say, you know, we're all looking for new customers. And if I can give you a free customer because you didn't have to pay to get that customer, I referred them to you. Isn't that worth, you know, getting your customer relationship management system in order, you know?
Yeah. You're making me laugh because I got a call the other day from a friend who said, "Hey, Dom, I need an electrician." And my answer was, "Well, I got a guy, but you know, we have known this guy for a long time. And so, you know, we know his cell phone, you know, you got to call him 3 times. He'll stop by when he can and he'll do it quickly, but he's not reliable." It's just ludicrous. It really is. If you want to grow your business, you're choking yourself at the top of the business funnel, you're always going to be stuck there. And that's your next level. You got to fix that.
Totally agree. Hey, we have to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsor, and we'll be back with more from Dom Rubino.
Hey everyone, this is Corey from SB Pace, and I'm a co-host of BizQuick podcast and Defeat the Chaos radio show on the Voice America Business Channel. We had a great time recording our episode of Winning on Main Street with Gordon, which aired on January 13th. If you're looking for some quick and actionable tips for your small business, be sure to check out that podcast with Gordon and our other content, which you can find on sbpace.com.
And we're back with more with Dom Rubino. Interesting discussion about how you can take your business to, he doesn't like to say to the next level, to the next stage of your development. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is about your business. So
Sure.
In terms of your business, which is business coaching, how do you go about acquiring and retaining your customers?
Well, on the acquisition side, that's always a little bit different. I've been doing a lot of speaking over the years, but now I have 2 podcasts that serve the industry. And so a lot of people hear me there, and then, it comes down to relationships. If they don't like me on the podcast, we're not going to work together very well. So I'm full on the one-on-one clients because, the people who've listened to the podcast, who've reached out, I'm now working with them one-on-one. And sometimes, I've got one client who's selling their company, so I'll have an open spot in a couple of months, but it doesn't happen very often. But finding clients is a constant and ongoing process. I have to keep those relationships going. And so I do that through all the tools you would expect, drip email marketing, the podcast itself, reaching out to people. I've got a Facebook group, all of those normal things. But then I had to expand my product offering as well. And so I have courses that I run that are group coaching. I had one of them today. It was really well attended. So that helps. But, finding those clients is a constant an ongoing process. Nurturing the clients, I have to rely on software. I can't do a good job if I have to do every single one of them individually. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. And, if I may ask, so for somebody who's maybe listening to this thinking, this guy sounds pretty good. What is it cost to work with you?
Well, I'll say, if you're worried about what it costs to work with me, you're not thinking about the ROI. I'm less than a receptionist.
Okay.
Yeah. But nobody works with me because of the cost. They work with me because of the opportunity. That really has to be the thing. And I'll say, and I've been a coach for a long time. I've been doing this for 22 years. You have to come into this wanting everything I've got and extract every piece of value. If you're not doing that, there's a good chance I'm going to let you go. I'm here to do serious work. I'm a very happy, easy go, lucky guy. Like you can tell, I like to smile, and I make lots of jokes in my coaching meetings, but we're here to do a job. And if we're not doing the job, we've got to change what we're doing, change our goals, or this, whatever we're doing isn't working. And that's fine too, but we got to come to that realization pretty quick and then move on.
And nowadays you do most of this via Zoom with clients, either one-on-one or in groups?
Yeah, most of my clients are international. I've got clients all over the place. So yeah, I do one-on-one via Zoom, and then I have lots of the group coaching. And the group coaching is it's a great place for people who have very limited time and a bit more of a limited budget, and they want to get things in manageable chunks along the way.
I know you said you look for businesses that are, in need of certain types of help. But I was wondering, from a size perspective, is there a certain size business you work with, like 1 employee, 2 employee, 3 employee?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I would say that first of all, it's either got to be a single owner or a maximum of 2 owners. Once it gets over 2, I'm not your guy, because that's not the kind of business that I work with. So that's the first thing. And then size of, they've got 10 employees ish. But I'm not really held up on that. What I look for is attitude. There has to be a fit. So when I'm doing my business coaching, I'll ask people a bunch of questions, as you'd expect, right? And one of the questions I say is, what do you want? And they say, I want to make more money. Easy and obvious answer. But then I come back and I say, why do you want to make more money? Which, by the way, sounds like the dumbest question I can ask. But usually the answer I get is, well, I want stuff. I want to buy a new front end loader, or I want to buy a new Vermeer or something, or they want to buy a new Skidoo. But every once in a while I meet somebody who says, well, Dom, my mom is in a home and she's in a shared room. And the other lady one of the other ladies in the room has dementia and stays up all night yelling and screaming and trying to talk to her. And my mom can't get any sleep. My mom deserves better, and I have to be able to afford it. And that's a true story that I heard across the table once. And I thought, oh my God, I got to work with this guy. There's nothing that's going to stop that guy from getting his business where it needs to be, because his, you and I would call it his why, his reason is so strong. He doesn't want a new Skidoo or a new front end loader. He's got to help his mom. That when I talk about attitude, I would work with that guy, even if he wasn't at the revenue level I'm used to, because he'll do whatever it takes to get what he needs.
Absolutely. I understand in terms of helping our listeners that you'll do like a 20-minute free call for interested people to get in touch with you. Do I have that right? How does that work?
Yeah, it's really easy. People can find me on the internet, through either of the two websites, which are attached to the podcast, and then just book a call there. I love those calls because I learn so much. And for people who listen to your show and mine, they'll recognize that I have a segment at the very end called Story Time with Dom. Real stories about real business owners and real situations. And sometimes I take the stories, names are changed to protect the innocent, of course. But those are the situations that I hear about. I love doing those calls. It gives me energy. So yeah, just reach out to me and I'm happy to do it.
Great. Okay. And so people just reach out to you, they'll get the 20-minute sort of free call. And then how does it work from there? You give them you say, look, this is going to work. It makes sense. And how do you sort of get things started?
So that's also a really good question that I never get asked. At the end of that call, you'll have a direction. Either the other person will decide they want to talk to me more and we'll have that meeting. I might decide I want to talk to them more and I'll ask for that meeting and they can say no. We're all adults here. But if it's not right, I'll still glean something from the conversation and I'll make a suggestion. I'll say, you need a bookkeeper. You need to change your bookkeeper. You need to read this book. You need to take this course. You need to, whatever it is, at least from my perspective and what they've given me, I'll point them in a direction. And of course, it's up to them to take the action, but I'll do my best. I won't leave anybody hanging. I'll give you some direction.
Awesome. Well, Dom, this has been great. And I hope people who are listening will take advantage of this. They can go to your website. We mentioned it before. I'm going to say it again here. It's
profittoolbelt.com.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Profittoolbelts.com. Thank you. And they can dial you up for a free consultation, 20 minutes, and hopefully find a way to make their business work better. So hopefully that'll result in a few phone calls for you. And I really appreciate you stopping by and having a little chat with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed it.
Great. And if you enjoyed this podcast, please tell a friend or colleague to subscribe, and please leave us a 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. Until next time, make it a great week.